There is currently a question looming right now in Houston about the Astros. Is this finally the year we add a second championship up there in the juice box? That the Houston Astros finally add a second banner to that lonely little 2017 World Series championship up there in Minute Maid? Houston's been very close in years past. Back in 2018, the Astros made the ALCS as one of the best teams in the league. Got knocked out by the eventual world champion Boston Red Sox. 2019, the Houston Astros, the best team in the American League and probably the best team in all of baseball. Lost in 7 to the Washington Nationals. 2020, they lose in 7 to the Tampa Bay Rays in the ALCS. And in 2021, last season, they lose in 6 to the Atlanta Braves. Optimism is very high here in Houston right now for Astros fans and casual fans, because for the first time since probably 2017, it feels different here. And it's for all the reasons that you probably wouldn't even guess. You go back to all the previously great Astro teams since 2017. They've all been great offensively stout teams. Sure, in 2018 and 2019, we had some great pitching, but in 2020 and 2021, the pitching kind of fell apart in the postseason. You go back to the 2019 World Series against the Washington Nationals. We're up 2-0, and Zach Greinke gives up a solo home run. AJ Hinch comes out afterwards, pulls him. That is the one time I think AJ Hinch ever mismanaged or overmanaged the Houston Astros. The bullpen gives up a few runs, and that's it. The Washington Nationals, they go on to shut out the Houston Astros the rest of the game, not allowing more than 2 runs, and they become world champions. In the 2021 World Series versus the Atlanta Braves, the Houston Astros go in there with Framber Valdez, Luis Garcia, and Jose Urquidy. A 3-man rotation, knowing full well the Game 4 is going to be a bullpen game. And well, just to be honest, the Astros arms ran out of gas. Those 3 arms, Jose Urquidy, Framber Valdez, and Luis Garcia, were overused. They were overtaxed. They were taking on too many innings, too many pitches. They were being asked way too much of for a series. And unfortunately for us as fans and as for the organization, it was the one series you don't want to have your starting pitching fail, which is the World Series. Give a lot of props to the Braves. They had a very good bullpen. They took the Astros offense and they shut them out. But the Braves had something that the Astros didn't. That was fresh arms, a good bullpen, and a nice rotation in that series. And so when you compare this year's Astros teams to previous years, something stands out. 1, the offense isn't as good as it's been in previous years. And 2, the starting rotation is absurdly, and I mean absurdly, ridiculously good this year. I wouldn't even say they're overperforming. I'd say they're performing up to par with where a lot of these guys should be in their career. Obviously, there's a couple of exceptions. Justin Verlander, 39 years old, coming off Tommy John surgery. I don't think a lot of people saw this kind of performance coming from him. And then, secondly, Lance McCullers coming off the IL. We know what kind of pitcher Lance is going to be. If you limit his innings and get him in the postseason, he's going to be great. Last year, he was the Houston Astros' ace starting pitcher. Coming back this year, I expect him to be very good. But then you look at guys like Framber Valdez, who has absolutely had just a spectacular year. His curveball is one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. Luis Garcia, who has done more than answer the dinner bell when it comes to pitching this year, only in his second year, I might add. He's discovered his cutter, and he's just looked so phenomenal. Then you have Christian Javier, who's bounced from bullpen to starting rotation to bullpen back to the starting rotation. And Christian has looked, in some points in this year, Christian has looked unhittable. Ask the Yankees. They know. His fastball, his slider, his location, when he's locating his pitches, he's unhittable. And then you have Mr. Do-It himself, Mr. Jose Urquidy. There's a lot of good things to say about Jose Urquidy, but I think the best way to sum up him is that he does his job. He just goes out, doesn't try to be cute, and just does his job. Lets his defense get his outs, and he just goes home with the win. And then you get to the Houston Astros bullpen, who this year have been unbelievable. Best bullpen in baseball. And who even saw this coming? I didn't see this coming. I don't know many people that did see this coming, as the Astros having the best bullpen in baseball here in 2022. Phil Maton, Ryan Stanek, Ryan Presley. You're getting contributions from guys like Hector Neris, Rafael Montero, even Seth Martinez. Brian Abreu, we might as well throw him in there. All these guys are doing their job and doing it exceptionally well. They're coming in high pressure situations and getting the outs needed. They're not allowing guys on base. They're not giving up a lot of hits or runs. What the Houston Astros have this year is what they've lacked in quite a few years in the past. And that's not only good starting pitching, but deep starting pitching. A rotation that can be a 6-man rotation, a legitimate bona fide 6-man rotation. On top of that, they actually have relief pitchers that are actually really good and don't give up runs in high pressure situations. And then they have a couple of really good closers on the roster that do their job extremely well in Ryan Stanek and Ryan Presley. I know Ryan Stanek's more of a relief guy, but he's been shown he can be a closer. People look back at the 2019 team and they like to say that was the best Astros team that there's ever been. And offensively, it's hard to argue against that because they were really special. George Springer, Carlos Correa, Jordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman. The list goes on. They were a phenomenally great offensive team. And their starting pitching, on paper, it looked almost unbeatable. Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, Zach Greinke. Unbelievable starting pitching. But when you got into the bullpen, it was good, but it wasn't great. It wasn't what the Astros had this year. And the bottom 4 or 5 of that rotation for the Houston Astros in 2019, it wasn't what everybody likes to make it out to be. Sure, at the top, you had guys like Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, and Zach Greinke, but at the 4 and 5 spots, the Astros had guys like Jose Urquidy and Wade Miley, who isn't even with the team anymore. And no disrespect to Miley and Urquidy, but at the time, that's not what you want your 4 and 5 guys to be going into the playoffs and pitching in the World Series. The Astros now have what they didn't have back in 2019, and that is depth at the end of the rotation. Guys that can actually go out there and give you 1 run or no run 6 to 7 innings. They have guys that can come out of the pen now and actually do their job, not allow a lot of runs, if any at all, in higher pressure situations. And that really, to me, is the difference that separates this Astros team versus teams of the past that have been great. Because now you have a rotation that can go out there 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, however you want to line it up, and shut offenses down. The Astros have been doing it all year long, and they have continued to do it, even when I thought they'd fall off. I am not recommending, but I am telling you, if the Houston Astros win the World Series this year, it is because the depth of their starting rotation, how good the relief and closing pitching has been, how great the catchers Martin Maldonado and Jason Castro have been with the young guys, and how great of a job that the pitching staff has done with Josh Wells and the Houston Astros pitching staff. That will be the reason that the Houston Astros win the World Series this year. Guys, I would love to know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Do y'all think this was the year that the Astros finally add a second banner up at the juice box? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. If y'all haven't already, go like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because I have plenty more baseball content like this. And I will see y'all in the next one. Adios, mi amigos.
Hey, thank you for rocking out tonight. You could be anywhere in the world. You right here. I got my special guest, Taya Lee, man.
Yeah, we bringing this all from the Keystone State.
Chilling on the Empire State. Till we run the entire state.